Hey! Oh, hello there. It's been a minute. It's been a minute since we've sat down at the old sofa and talked about some films. They are not movies. They are films. It's cinema. Well, in all seriousness though, it's been a minute. And the reason why I haven't been making a whole lot of videos lately is because of a situation that I covered in my last video that you can watch in the description. I just kind of explain where my mindset is right now for my channel and maybe why I won't be uploading as much in the future. But anyways, we're uploading today. We're making a video today. And what is it about? Well, we're going to be ranking every movie that I saw in 2021. That's right. So I saw about 50 films. Actually, I think I did see exactly 50 movies in 2021 that came out of 2021. I watched hundreds more, but the movies that actually came out in 2021, I saw about 50 of them. No, I didn't have the chance, or I didn't get the chance to go see Spencer, or Drive My Car, or Power of the Dog, or even, I haven't even seen Don't Look Up yet, which everyone's like flipping out about for some reason. I'm not really sure. So I haven't seen like those, and I know the Golden Globes were just a couple days ago, and it was like online. It was like an online version of the Golden Globes, and I was like, what? It wasn't broadcasted on TV. It wasn't streamed anywhere. It was a little strange, but the winners came out of that. And I saw some of the winners. Haven't really seen too many noteworthy Oscar dramas other than stuff maybe like, I don't know, Pig, I guess, or Titan, which Titan or Titane or Titane. Forgot how you say it, but Titan, which probably won't be winning any Oscars anytime soon, because that's just not the type of movie the Academy likes to, you know, shell stuff out to. But anyways, let's go down this list. So I have ranked all 50 of them throughout the year. I just put in stars. We're going to do the star system, alright? So let's just get right into it. Number 50, we have Tom and Jerry. Now this movie came out, oh my god, when did it come out? It came out a long time ago. Like in the beginning of 2021, I believe. And the reason why it's so far down on this list, I put it at a 1 star out of 5. It's because Tom and Jerry got sidelined in their own movie. They just were barely even in it. And I'm like, what is this? That doesn't make sense. Get out of here, Tom and Jerry. And I love Tom and Jerry. I watched all those cartoons when I was a wee boy, a wee lad. But yeah, Tom and Jerry, yeah. Number 49, the reason why this one isn't as low as Tom and Jerry is because at least it's kind of funny. Tom and Jerry wasn't funny. It was more of a pain to sit through. But number 49 is Home Sweet Home Alone. But that's also a 1 star out of 5. But slightly better, I guess. I don't know. It's like, I thought it was going to be like a complete, what's it called? A remake. And it's like not. But then it kind of is. Then it's like a reboot of the whole franchise as a whole. But then again, like, I don't really, it's like a sequel. It's like a sequel in some way because Buzz from the original film, you know, Kevin's older brother that plays with the tarantula and stuff like that, he's in it and he's a cop in it. That's not a spoiler really, that's just in the trailer. Who cares about spoilers for Home Sweet Home Alone anyways, am I right? But there's not much to say about this movie. There really isn't. It's just Home Sweet Home Alone. That's what it is. Okay, moving on. Number 48, Coming to America. So me and my dad watched this. Yeah, another one that came out back in like early 2021. And I remember the trailers popping up about it, like, and all these rumors, like, is it going to be made? Are we ever going to see Coming to America 2? And I'm like, I don't know. Should there even be one? But then people are also excited because Eddie Murphy hasn't really been in too much stuff as of late. So seeing him back in a comedic role to one of the all-time great movies of the 80s, it was kind of cool to see in some ways. Or it was cool, the hype around it was cool because, like, people were interested what was going to happen. And to me, the trailers didn't look bad. It actually looked kind of okay. Then I watched it, and I was like, oh my god, what is happening here? This movie is actually actual garbage. And I'm sorry to all the people who worked on the movie, because it does look kind of like a semi-ish, big-ish production. More of a big production than the original, that's for sure. And there was all these dancing scenes and scenes with like hundreds of extras, and they really went all out. And there's like this big wedding thing at the end, but like, what? It's just not good. It's just not. It's not funny. Wesley Snipes is in it for like a minute or two, and he's okay. It's just bad. This is so when you think of like Hollywood, like making sequels and stuff, like, oh, why is this doesn't need a sequel, or they're just rehashing the old stuff. Coming to America sits at the top of that. This is how not to do a sequel. It's not a legacy sequel like Ghostbusters, or it actually pays homage and tribute to the other films in a meaningful way. This tried to just, I don't know what it was trying to do. Okay, moving on. 47, The Forever Purge. 2 stars out of 5. I saw this, oh god. I saw it at my work. I work at a movie theater. I saw it with some coworkers and a couple friends from school, and so The Purge gets a lot of flack. I think it also gets a lot of high praise. It either gets a lot of high praise for some people, or it just gets completely trashed by others. And there's not really a middle ground. I was in the high praise for the first 2 films. And then 3, I was like, meh. And then I didn't see the first Purge. The movie The First Purge. I've seen the first Purge movie, but not the first Purge, you know what I'm saying. But then the Forever Purge, which came out, was kind of like, Jesus Christ, what was the story? It's like there's one last Purge, or, hold on, I'm going to search up the story real quick. Bear with me, folks. Bear with me. Forever Purge. I actually forgot the story. Like, I just completely forgot what even happened. All the rules are broken as a sect of lawless marauders decides that the annual purge does not stop at daybreak and instead should never. That's right. That's why it's called Forever Purge. Okay, so they're like, we're just gonna have a purge all the time. Why does it have to stop at midnight or in the AM or whenever it stops? Why not let's just keep the killing party going? That's right, I remember. And there was a lot of, they like shot like this scene on like the Universal backlight clearly, and it felt like more like an action movie. The first Purge was actually, I thought, it was a pretty good like suspense thriller horror film. But then the second one was kind of like suspense thriller action. The third one, I don't really remember too much, but they were like auctioning off people or something like that. Election year, and then I didn't see the first Purge, and then this one, action. It's an action movie. There's like a gunfight at the end where people are like hiding behind like walls and stuff, and I'm like, bro, what is this? What are we watching? There's like cars going over dunes, and like, oh my god, dude, like what is going on? 46, Fast 9. Now, you can make the case that Fast 9 should be at the very bottom of this list. You can make that case, but it still stands as an absolutely hilarious movie. Now, I don't know, I can't tell if they're going for like an absurd movie, like, because when the first Fast and Furious came out, it was pretty respected, had a lot of fans, and it's a movie. That's the best way I can describe it. This one is just not, I guess. There's John Cena in it, and there's Kurt Russell, and all these other special guest stars, and people coming back from the dead, people going into outer space, cars flipping, explosions everywhere. John Cena is like this, he's like this super soldier guy, and there's a scene with John Cena and Vin Diesel like hopping across like buildings, and it was just a lot. But the reason why it's higher up on my list is because it was actually entertaining. Coming to America was boring. Forever Purge was boring. Tom and Jerry was boring. Fast 9, it might be bad, but you can't deny that it's an entertaining bad, but that it's still bad. I think it's still bad. It's not one of those it's so bad it's good movies. It's still bad. It's still bad. For 45, Space Jam 2. I think it's called A New Legacy is the subtitle there. I don't know. 2.5 out of 5 stars. This is another one I saw with some coworkers and stuff. Space Jam 2. So I wasn't well too versed in the Space Jam mythology until about maybe like COVID, I guess, started, and the whole pandemic happened, and everybody was shut and locked up. Which I wouldn't be surprised if we went back into lockdown again at this point. But anyways, we don't talk about that stuff on this channel. Only positive, happy things most of the time. What was I saying? Yeah, Space Jam 2. So I saw the first Space Jam, think when with my family, we were like all locked down, and my dad had seen it, of course, and I was like, hey, there's a Space Jam 2 coming out next year. Why don't we watch Space Jam 1 in preparation? And then or everyone was like, yeah, me, my brother, my sister, and my dad watched it, and we all liked it. We all liked the first one. And then me, my dad, and my brother went to go see the new one, and it was a little strange, I'm gonna be honest. Algae Rhythm, is that the villain's name? Played by Don Cheadle. I mean, who doesn't love Don Cheadle, but come on now. And what else happened? There was a fake out Michael Jordan. There was no Bill Murray. Warner Brothers just put every property they owned in it. You know what I thought was interesting is that the guys from A Clockwork Orange, the Droogies, they were in it. They were in the background like all cheering for the Looney Tunes characters to win. And I'm like, did Warner Brothers, did they forget what A Clockwork Orange is about? Those people literally like rape and murder people. And I just thought it was funny that they were just in this movie. Because why not? Like, why not at this point? Just throw everybody in there. Movies are becoming more meta now than ever, and people are realizing that. At least I'm realizing that. And it's all about, like laughing at yourself and laughing at other things. But also some movies don't seem to get that, and they're just laughable. This movie was trying to be self-referential, I think, in a way, but it just didn't work. Though Big Chungus is in it, and I freaking love Big Chungus. Chungus game. He's not dead. He's not a dead meme to me, guys. Chungus still lives on. 44! The Conjuring 3. I think it's called The Devil Made Me Do It. Not much to say here. I mean, from the opening shot, I think it was like a couple shots in, but the opening-ish shot with that Exorcist reference, I was like, oh boy. And then then a lot of stuff happened. Some guy got a plate hit his head, and the Warrens are just, they always advertise these movies as the Warrens are back for their biggest battle yet, and then it's like they're like, I think it's the devil, and then people start shaking it around, and all the trailers are edited the same with the same beats and the jump scares. And with the other Conjuring movies, especially the first one, because these movies are based on real events with real people. They are real people. The Warrens were real people. But the first one, maybe even bits of the second one, they do seem real in some sort of way. I guess you could argue that, I mean, 2 is a little like teetering on the edge, but then again, it's like, it's a Hollywood movie, like you gotta like amp it up for the viewers. And the Warrens, Elizabeth Warren, like backed these projects. She was all for them. She was right there. There's photos of her like on set, so she was giving her okay and her approval, and I'm pretty sure she understood that like these are movies and they could be played up. But she's passed away now, and this movie is just an absolute mess. That's all I can say. It's just not as good, and it doesn't seem like it's based off a real story. It seems like they just completely made it up, and then they just slapped the Warrens on it, and they said based on true events. Even though I did look into it later, and some of it did happen to be real, but of course everything's heightened. The movie's super high. Anyways, we're gonna keep going on. We have 50 of these to talk about. God dang it! What will be number one? What will be number one? You could just fast forward to the end of the video to find out, or you could stick around with me. Oh God, where are we at? 43. I'm doing this all in one take. Aren't you guys proud of me? 43, yeah. Stillwater. I have really nothing to say about this. It's Matt Damon, and it was a little slightly boring. You know, this movie came out in the summer-ish time, I believe, and you know, movies come out in the summer. That's why they're called like a blockbuster summer. Get ready for all the big movies coming out in the summer. There really were none. There weren't really, like, maybe like Free Guy and A Quiet Place 2. Like, those were like the big hits of the summer, I guess. But if it was any other year, in any other decade, those two movies would be at the bottom of the box office list if you ranked them with like all the other summer releases. So Stillwater was just kind of in there as well, and me and my family went to go see it because there was nothing else to see, and we wanted to see a movie and do something and get out of the house. Stillwater was there. It wasn't bad, but I don't know, it's just kind of forgettable. I don't know, 42. I might get some hate for this one, but Black Widow, 2.5 out of 5 stars. You know, Marvel has been kind of, at least for me, it's kind of been watered down, I think, from what it used to be. I mean, people are going to say like, oh no, Spider-Man No Way Home just breathed a new life into Marvel movies. And it did, in some sort of way. It did, but from like Black Widow to Shang-Chi to Eternals, it was just like a slog of movies. I think Marvel hit like a little bit of a slog there. And where every Marvel movie was like a must-see event in the theaters and pulled in these big numbers. I think with Black Widow it kind of started to be detached from that, I guess. Didn't have that same giddy Marvel feeling when watching the opening titles or anything like that. So Black Widow was just kind of meh. And I always bring this up when talking about it with other people, like that one scene where, I'm sorry, spoilers for Black Widow. Minor spoilers for all these movies. Minor. I won't give anything away because I hate spoilers myself. But there's a scene where Black Widow is with this guy, and the guy was all like, is trying to like torture her and stuff like that. And then Black Widow is trying to fight back, and then she can't. She's like, I can't punch. And then he's all like, that's because of my cologne I'm wearing. It allows you to not punch me, or something like. It was, his cologne was like his protective shield, his bubble, and that's all that needs to be said about that movie. 41, and I don't usually hate movies that much. I'm a big lover of all movies. I'm a big lover of very trashy movies, as you'll see. Okay, also, I forget to like promote other stuff that I do in these types of videos. I talk a lot about movies, or at least I used to, more back in the old days, a couple months ago. And I'll put a playlist down below with all of my movie talk videos if you want to hear me ramble on about more stuff. And there's videos where I go through all the movies that I own, all the signed posters that I have, and their meanings, and how I got them, and the people I have met in the industry. What's it called? Where are we at? Oh gosh, we're only on the 40s. Jesus Christ. Spiral, 3 out of 5. We're gonna do a little bit of a speed run. Spiral is, I binged watch all the Saw movies before that, before watching Spiral, and I binged them all the way up from Saw 1, which I had already seen, but I watched again, and then to Jigsaw, and I had never seen Saw 2 to whatever it is, 7. ever. And so that was an interesting experience. That was a fun time, just watching the mystery build. And John Kramer, spoiler, he's dead. He dies in like, was it 2 or 3? He dies early, and I was like, I did not expect that. I thought he was like this reoccurring guy, like that they just couldn't find in every movie, but I was dead wrong. Dead wrong. And so that was interesting, and Sparrow was kind of playing off of that, like John Kramer is dead, but his legacy lives on in the hands of a new killer. Who will this killer be? Will it be Samuel Jackson or Chris Rock, who are both kind of out of place in this movie, but I don't know, it works for the most part. I didn't hate this movie. I gave it a 3 out of 5. Maybe it's a 2.5. I don't really know. So anyways, that was Spiral. It's just the fastest, or maybe slowest movie reviews I've ever done. Black Widow, 2.5 out of... Wait, what? Sorry, Godzilla vs. Kong, 3 out of 5. Now, this movie, it kind of just, it said what it was gonna happen. It was Godzilla vs. Kong, and then they fought, and nothing else in the movie matters. Not the humans or anything, or all the other conflict. People want to see them fight. That's what happened. There was like all this weird stuff about going into like this other thing where like rocks were flipped upside down, and King Kong was like, "What? This is a terrible review." Godzilla vs. Kong, 3 out of 5. It was entertaining. 39, we have Eternals. Now, I think I put Eternals kind of like, I didn't know if Eternals was better than Shang-Chi or worse. At the time, I was like, this is better than Shang-Chi. But then now I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, well, Shang-Chi was kind of cool, but it was kind of formulaic. And Eternals is also formulaic, but also kind of, it was slightly boring. And I won't spoil it at all, because it's still kind of out-ish. But Eternals is just... There's been so many people talking about this movie. I don't want to talk... It's Eternals. 38 is Candyman, 3 out of 5. Now, this was something that I did not expect. Candyman was actually pretty alright. It was alright. Of course, it can't really hold a hair to the original one with Tony Todd, and because that one is, well, by many, it's considered a horror masterpiece. I don't think it's a masterpiece, but it's good. It's really good. And I saw it one a number of years ago, and I've seen Tony Todd in person a couple of times after that. Never got the actual chance to walk up to him and shake his hand, but I've seen him pass by at like conventions and stuff, and man, that dude is tall. So I want to meet him someday. We're gonna meet again, Tony Todd, hopefully. So 3 out of 5. This one was interesting. I wouldn't say it's completely horrible, but I had a good time in the theater watching it. I think I watched it by myself. Last year I went to the movies more times with myself than I ever have in my entire life. I think it's mostly because I couldn't really find too many people to go to the movies with. I've kind of found a group now that I'm happy to go out with and stuff like that, but there was a while where I'm like, there's nobody wants to see these movies, and it's kind of I still kind of stand by that, because a lot of the movies that I watch are kind of like really trashy horror, underground, grindhouse, hack and slash and gore and blood and vomit movies, and I could see why people don't want to be associated with that kind of stuff. So I'm like, well, nobody likes the stuff that I want to go see, and nobody's really seen Candyman. I'm just gonna go see Candyman, and then I did, and it was okay. Sorry, this is just a big long rant video. Now is it? On a second note, I have class in about 15 minutes. I have to go back to class. I'm on my lunch break right now. Zoom class. So there might be a little bit of a pause in the video. So I guess this won't be all in one take. God dang, but I'll be back later. What else do we got? 37. The Mixels versus the Machines. Now, I had to watch this for my film school. And otherwise I would have never have seen it. and it was kind of funny, and it was kind of good, and it was creative, and I liked that the main character, she had a passion for filmmaking too. I'm pretty sure that's why we watched it in film school. But it also was a new release, and it was animated really cool. And I can't remember the story all too well, but there's basically just robots invading Earth, and this family is kind of in the apocalypse, and they have to survive. And survive, I won't tell you because it's spoilers. But yeah, Mixels vs. Machines. It's not bad. I think it's gonna be one of those underrated movies in the future. Like, it won't win like best animated feature or anything like that. It's just one of those that's kind of get pushed down, I think, because I think it's a Netflix movie, and Netflix movies just usually, at least for me, in my opinion, get kind of bogged down because Netflix releases so much content. I feel like every single day that you just can't keep up with everything. But yeah, Mixels vs. Machines, 3 out of 5. 36, we have Shang-Chi, and there was a point where Shang-Chi and Eternals were flopped. Like, Shang-Chi was down there and Eternals was up here. But I don't know, they're just kind of the same for me again. Shang-Chi, I mean, the ending was cool. I like that whole final act, all the fighting, and there was like that big old dragon that came out of nowhere, and that was unique. Did it make sense? I don't know. They were in that weird dystopian Avatar world, and there was a lot of stuff going on. Awkwafina, she seems like a cool person, but she kind of acts the same in every single movie, and I think she probably knows that as well, which is why she gets casted as herself, basically, in every movie. But Awkwafina was okay, and it was interesting how they kind of pulled her along for the whole adventure. God dang it. Yeah, other than that, Shang-Chi that's another movie that's been talked about for a long time. 35, Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Yes, I liked Venom more than Shang-Chi, more than Eternals. You know why? Because it was cooler. It was funnier. It had I can't say it's like unique because it was kind of the same thing as the first one. Not the same. It was funnier. The inclusion of Woody Harrelson is great because Woody Harrelson is a fine, pristine actor, and he knows what he's doing. I can't remember the lady who plays Cassidy's girlfriend, who he has to break out of prison. What is her name? She's been in so many movies. She's in like all the recent Daniel Craig James Bond movies. She was in Pirates of the Caribbean. She was Calypso. She was in Moonlight. She was the mom. What is her name? I feel so bad, but she does good. And I love the post-credit scene. That was one of the best post-credit scenes I've seen in a Marvel movie in a very long time. And I know it's not in the MCU, but come on now, it kind of is. If my voice sounds sick, I'm sorry. I just have a very throat, like a rasp that I'm trying to get over. I'm not sick. I do not have COVID. Clearly, I am hopping around, but yeah, just trying to be careful. 34, Willys Wonderland gets a 3.5 out of 5 for me. I love it so much. I have the DVD over there. Where is it? I don't care to go find it, but Willys. Oh, it's right here. Hold on. Willys Wonderland. I gotta do another movie review, movie collection video. I usually have bought so many, since one could say too many. Huh? Nicolas Cage, Willys Wonderland. I can only find the DVD because one is cheaper, and two, none of the Best Buys or Targets I went to had the Blu-ray. But Willys Wonderland was a kind of like a. People are saying it just looks like Five Nights at Freddy's, Chuck E. Cheese horror movie. Other movies have done it better. But come on now, Nicolas Cage doesn't even speak a word in this, and he still does fantastic. 2021, in a couple of ways, was the year of Nicolas Cage. He had this one. He had Pig. This year, he has the that one Nicolas Cage movie where he plays himself. And there's Pedro Pascal in it. That looks really cool. I really want to see that. Oh gosh, yeah. So yeah, I just love Nicolas Cage, and I loved this one. And it was funny, it was gory. It's a simple movie. You're in and out in like 90 minutes. Same with Venom. Maybe that's why I liked it. I don't know. It doesn't overstay its welcome. Willys Wonderland is a wonderful time. 33, A Quiet Place 2. 3.5 out of 5. I saw this with my friends, and again, but I think that's why it enhanced the experience, because we were just laughing. One of our friends had never seen a horror movie before, and it's not really so much a horror movie as it is kind of like another thriller and suspense movie. But nonetheless, we still had a really, really fun time. And it's not a bad sequel. I mean, it goes back to when this whole apocalypse thing kind of started, and you get to see John Krasinski again for a minute or two. And it also leads up to probably the biggest cliffhanger I've seen in a long time. I mean, what was that? This movie would be higher if it had, I guess, a proper ending. But then again, I knew what they were doing. I knew that they want people to come back for the next one, and that's what a cliffhanger means. But it was just a goddamn big cliffhanger. And I mean, I'll go see Quiet Place 3. I'm down. Yeah. 32, plus I made a frick ton of money. 32, Free Guy, 3.5 out of 5. Free Guy was funny. Who doesn't like Ryan Reynolds, am I right? He's an everyday man. He just seems so cool. And this movie, he just plays himself, but he plays a guy named Guy, and he has to get out of... Not trying to get out, but he's in this video game world. He is a video game character, but he has feelings for a real person, and it's kind of a cool little thing that they got going on. And Taika is in it, and there's a bunch of other cameos from other celebrities like that. I didn't expect to be in it, and it was enjoyable. It's enjoyable, and CGI has come a long way. It really has. 31, Nobody, with Bob Odenkirk. Now, I never expected to see Bob Odenkirk as the big headliner of an action movie, but he is, and it works. And it's not like John Wick, but then it kind of is. I do get a lot of those John Wick vibes. I think some of the producers from that movie, John Wick, even made this one. Oh, I can't remember. Excuse me. But Nobody it was a great movie. There's a really cool scene on a bus. Bob Odenkirk is beating the heck out of all these guys. Christopher Lloyd is in it. I had loved seeing Christopher Lloyd on the big screen, because he's just so cool, and he's another Hollywood, I could probably say Hollywood legend. That man has done it all. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Roger Rabbit, and of course my favorite movie of all time, Back to the Future. God, Nobody was a good time. 30, In the Heights. I put In the Heights over Nobody. That might need to change. In the Heights what was entertaining, and I also saw this with a friend, but also had its problems. I think one of the main characters just kind of dipped out towards the end of the movie. She was like, I need to go find myself, I need to go to college, and I'm just leaving you, my boyfriend, behind, and I'm just gonna go. And then he was like, and then she left, and then I was like, oh, she's gonna come back and they're gonna do something, and no, that doesn't happen. She just leaves, and I'm like, what? So I think this movie just had way too many characters to deal with. It was kind of hard to remember everyone's names and follow everybody around. And I think Lin-Manuel Miranda had the best moment in the movie. I mean, he had a large part in creating the movie, but I also think he had the best moment as a character himself. There's a nice Piragua song at the end there's a post-credit scene. And I thought it was interesting that a musical had a post-credit scene, so that was kind of cool. But as a whole, the movie is entertaining. It is exciting. There's a lot of energy, but something just feels off. I can't pinpoint it, but something is off for sure. It is a little sad though. It's not like the big movie of the summer that it was kind of billed as. Like everybody should come out and come see In the Heights. I don't think anyone did. A little sad, but I put Judas and the Black Messiah on here. Did Judas and the Black Messiah come out last year? I feel like that was more of a 2019 movie because I remember it got like, I made like an Oscars reaction video. They didn't get any views, but that's my timer to go back to class. Judas and the Black Messiah come out last year? It must have, like, early on, like, January-ish. But I gave it 3.5 out of 5. I had given it 4 at one time, but then, like, I found other movies to be better. It's not a bad movie. It's actually kind of, it's, like, powerful stuff. And there's, like, that whole gunfight. I just remember the action parts of movies. Oh, my God. Not all movies, of course, but, it didn't really have a main character. It was the two, and, I'm trying to remember, because I've only seen the movie once, and I'm trying to remember something about that I liked about Judas and the Black Messiah. Maybe something I didn't like about it. I can't think of anything. So it's just sitting at number 29 right now, kind of in the middle of the list. And I'll be back for 28 and so on. Let me just go finish up my class really quick.
The next day.
Oh, hello. We are back again. I don't know if I'm centered or not. Let's see. Centered-ish. Okay, so it's a couple hours later, but let's continue on with the list. Let me just... Oh, well, let me pull it up first. Let me do that. Where did we last leave off, guys? Where was it last? I think we were talking about, yeah, Judas and the Black Messiah. 28! Cry Macho. 3.5 out of 5. Originally, I had this at 4 stars because coming out of the theater, watched it with my grandma and my brother, and I really liked it. They were like, that is good. But for some reason, I really liked it. Something tugged on my heartstrings in that movie. Maybe just something about seeing Clint Eastwood on the big screen for the first time. I have never seen a Clint Eastwood movie like that. I was gonna go see The Mule, but that didn't happen. But yeah, seeing him on the big screen, and who knows how many more acting performances we're gonna see from the great Clint Eastwood. He's just so legendary. He's fantastic. And I don't know, it was just special, for me at least, because I love movies. And that man is just, he embodies film. 27, The King's Man. Now, I just saw this one not too long ago with, again, more friends. And we all liked it. We all liked it. One of our friends there, she said that she had never seen a Kingsman movie. And I was like, what? Now, why are you watching this? But it doesn't really have too much connection with the other Kingsman movies. The ending, maybe just a little bit. But other than that, you're not going to get too much of a backstory behind, like, Eggsy or Eggsy's dad or something like that. It's way before the time. It's the creation of the Kingsmen. It's how this whole thing started. So there aren't really any Kingsmen in the movie. It's just the creation of... You know what I'm talking about. But the action scenes were great. Rise Afons. I'm sorry if I'm saying his name wrong. He plays Rasputin. And he was the highlight of the movie for me. He was just so... He was like creepy, but also really funny and menacing all at the same time. What is going on with my hair? Oh my god, dude. It won't stay down. It won't go over. It's not curly. It's not like straight. It's like... I don't know what's going on. Anyways, yeah, he did a great job, and he kind of made the movie for me, to be honest. And there's a big twist in that. I love it when movies kind of just swerve you in the middle of the story. Like, you think you're following this guy or that gal, and then something happens, and the whole movie does a 180. I just love that. I love being swerved, because not enough movies are swervy. They're more kind of straightforward, I guess. I don't know. At least the ones last year, 2021. 26, we have Wrath of Man, Jason Statham. it might have been the finest action movie of the year. It was good. Jason Statham is playing Jason Statham. Guy Ritchie is directing. I think that was a Guy Ritchie movie. I saw it with my friend Kai, friend of the channel. We had a good time. Not much to it. It's a straightforward action thriller about Jason Statham, who is a guy who gets hired. You know, like those Brinks trucks that always like drive by that carry all the money, and those guys that carry all the money from like the bank to the place and the stores, and yeah, he's basically one of those guys. And stuff happens, and people try to steal the money. And that's when Jason Statham is there to pow pow pow, and he shoots them all up. So anyway, Kingsman, Wrath of Man 25 is In the Earth. Now this is one that kind of got overlooked. I think it got overlooked by mostly everybody. I think it was a movie that came out by Neon, which is kind of like the less acclaimed A24, although they make pretty solid movies as well, Neon does. Yeah, so In the Earth came out, and I was like, let's go see this. And my family is all like, that looks cool, there's nothing else out. So we went to go see it, completely empty theater, and oh my god, I had a blast. So these are the kind of movies that I love watching. Movies that, they don't really have to make a whole lot of sense, but as long as I feel something in them, as long as what I'm looking at is visually amazing, and as long as I'm entertained, you know? There's a lot of movies out there that have no storyline, they have no plot, they barely even have any characters, but they could still be epic and fantastic and amazing. And that's just the kind of guy I am. And so In the Earth was kind of a perfect blend, because it did have characters in it, and it did have a story-ish, but I don't know, I found it really cool. Thought the visuals were great. It all seemed like practical effects to me in the end, with all the lights flashing, and I won't spoil it, but In the Earth, if you're a horror movie fan and you like people like I would say like Maya Deren, or heck, even maybe David Lynch, I guess, check out In the Earth maybe. It's a cool new release. 24, The Suicide Squad. James Gunn came back to save the Suicide Squad. You know, when the first one came out, and I don't know if I've mentioned this on my channel, when the first one came out, the first Suicide Squad came out back in good old 2016, I took my friends, well, I didn't take my friends, but me and my friends went to go see it, and I absolutely loved it so much that I went with my mom a second time. I was like, Mom, you have to see this movie, because it was just me and my friends and my brother, and I was like, Mom, you got to go see it. So then the rest of my family went to go see it, and I saw it for a second time with them, and I loved it. And I bought a book of Suicide Squad, the making of. I bought, I was buying action figures, and it's a movie that my love of it has kind of died down, I guess, a little bit. I mean, there's been so many other great superhero flicks to come out since then, and just better movies, but I don't hate the Suicide Squad like most people do. I'm still talking about the 2016 one, but I do think this one was kind of a step up, actually. It was a step up. It was funnier, it was more action-packed, the characters were great, and James Gunn, he just knows how to make a wacky, silly movie, and that's what he does, and that's what the Suicide Squad is. 3.5 out of 5 stars. 23, Belfast. I know how to speak. That's the Kenneth Branagh movie. Kenneth Branagh. I've never said his name out loud. I'm so sorry. I'm mispronouncing everybody today. I'm not trying to slight anybody here. I just don't English. So 3.5 out of 5 stars. Belfast. It follows this family in Belfast, and there's kind of like a mini war going on between the government and the people, and they're trying to force people out of their homes, or they're trying to send people to war, and it's just a family drama struggle, but it also is kind of funny at some points, and really, really sad. I saw this with my grandma, and we both really liked it. Maybe not as much as other people saying that it's the best picture of the year or anything like that, because I have seen that. on multiple occasions. But it's not bad. I think it's going to end up being one of those Oscar movies where it gets nominated and it's in the running for some things, but then it doesn't win, and then people kind of forget about it over the years, and then people are like, remember Belfast? And everybody's like, oh yeah, that was a good one. Kind of like Green Book, I guess, except that one won Best Picture, which is crazy. Green Book won Best Picture. I'm not saying Green Book is bad either. I really do like it. I have the Blu-ray over there. So yes, that was Belfast. 23. It seems low on my list, but I just love all these other movies more. I don't know. 22. Prisoners of the Ghostland. Yes, before you start throwing things at me and slandering me in the comments saying that I like Prisoners of the Ghostland better than Belfast and even the Suicide Squad. Let me explain. I'm a big Nicolas Cage fan. I think the first movie I saw with him was probably like either Ghost Rider or National Treasure, and that was when I was really little. And so I knew of him, and I've known of him since I was a wee little lad, and I just have grown to watch all these movies from him. And one of my favorite movies, my favorite director of all time is probably David Lynch, and so I just love Wild at Heart. And within recent years, he's been on an upward trajectory in the quality and the content of movies he's making. Every movie he just gives it his all, and he had three movies come out last year: Prisoner of the Ghostland, Pig, and Willys Wonderland, and I loved them all. And Prisoner of the Ghostland is kind of in the middle, but I give it a 4 out of 5 stars in this one, but it might go down to a bit of a 3.5 maybe for Prisoner of the Ghostland. I'm not sure yet. I'm gonna have to rewatch it. That's something I need to buy. I'm going to put that on the list. 21, The Green Knight. Another movie that I know a lot of people hate and a lot of people dislike. But then I think it also gets some love for the people that are just kind of like diehard A24 fans, which I am not. I have not seen every A24 movie, but I do enjoy movies like Hereditary and The Lighthouse and Uncut Gems. So I know some stuff. I know some stuff about A24. So The Green Knight, it kind of shook me a little bit when it came to everything. The visuals were a sight to see. The story was kind of there. And then the ending was just like, whoa. And I remember sitting in the theater and somebody was just like yelled out like, well, it was a waste of time. And then they just immediately walked out after the movie ended. And actually, I'm surprised they didn't walk out earlier, but maybe they just wanted to see how it ended. I liked it. I bought the Blu-ray, so I like it enough. That's The Green Knight. Number 20, and this was in my top 10 at one point, but it has gone down significantly, is Halloween Kills. I was going to make a movie about, I was going to make a video about why are people hating on Halloween Kills so much, and I was going to break down some things of why I liked it and why I didn't like it, but here's why I liked it. I like Halloween Kills for the most part because of the way they continued the story right off the bat from the last one. They also went back a little bit, back into the old times, 1978 Halloween, and it showed a bit of that old Haddonfield vibe, and it had some interesting kills, interesting little character moments, some funny stuff, and I love that the town was completely unhinged. Everybody is going crazy, everybody's flipping stuff, everybody wants to kill Michael Myers. However, there were some things I did not like about it. I found it incredibly weird and annoying that they kept repeating Evil Dies Tonight. First time was good, second time okay, but they must have said it at least like 27 times. And I'm like, why do you need... We heard it the first time, okay? You just Evil Dies Tonight, except it doesn't, because there's a sequel, which everybody knows. Are they even going to say it in the sequel? Because if they don't, then maybe he's not going to die. Here's my question. Is Michael Myers going to die in Halloween Ends? Technically, he's died in a lot of Halloween movies. But is he going to die in Halloween Ends? I don't know. Are they just going to lock him up again for him to escape, and then there's going to be another sequel in 20 years called Halloween Returns or something like that? Instead of Jamie Lee Curtis returning, it's going to be Jamie Lee Curtis's granddaughter, who is still around, and she's going to be returning. It can just go on and on, you guys. So, Halloween Kills, number 20. Number 19, The Tragedy of Macbeth. 4 out of 5 stars. I saw this with my buddy at this theater I had never been to. Heath. That was my friend Heath. He's been in so many videos. I don't know why. Yeah. So me and Heath went to go see this, and he was a little skeptical about it because it's like Macbeth, and we both don't really know much about Shakespeare. But then I was like, it'll be fine. Look how cool it is in the trailer, and it's only like an hour and a half long. And we just go in, go out. It's a new theater. We don't know what it's going to be about. We don't know what's going to happen. I've never read the Shakespearean stories. I don't know. And he was like, okay, let's go watch it. We go there. The popcorn is pretty overpriced, but we don't care. We got a refill, and we paid for it, or he paid for it. And I'm not really talking about the movie. I'm just talking about the experience. I'm sorry. But the whole thing is really cool. It's by one of the Coen brothers, Joel Coen. Was it Ethan Coen? I think it was Joel. So yeah. So half the Coen brothers made this. And I don't want to say something mean. I feel like if I was like an actual like movie review person, be like, half the Coens made this, which means it equals to half the charm. I'm not going to be like that. But there were some moments where I was a little bit confused. I didn't know exactly what they were saying because the dialogue is very dense and it's very rich and it's very thick in that old English language. I expected a lot of arts and a lot of thous, but I did not expect all of these words that I had no idea the meaning of. And they were placed in such an intricate way. I couldn't believe that the actors, especially Denzel, who has some long monologues in it. He's just doing it all in one take. I couldn't believe the acting. It's rated R just for violence, and I loved that. There's this funny... Oh god, why am I coughing? What the heck? There's this funny scene... minor spoilers alert. There's this funny scene where the whole theater was quiet. And then there's a scene where there's a burning building, and then a child is like, "Ah, we need to go!" And then an evil guard who set the building on fire just takes the child and yeets him down the building, and he just falls into his death. And I couldn't stop laughing, and neither could Heath, because it's just not something you see every day. It's kind of funny watching a child dying. That's gonna get taken out of context. Okay. Dying on screen, not in real life. Jesus Christ. What's it called? 18, The Last Duel, Ridley Scott. I did not get to see House of Gucci. That's another one I haven't seen, House of Gucci. But I heard that one was kind of laughable and not for the right reasons. Maybe I'll like it someday. But me and my dad went to go see The Last Duel, and we were kind of taken back by it. We're like, holy moly, actually, this is genuinely good. Some genuinely good performances. The whole thing with like telling lies and their secrets between Matt Damon and Adam Driver and Jodie Comer. Forgetting everybody's name today. But anyways, and then it all leads up to an epic clash, and who wins, who loses, who dies, who wins, who survives, I can't tell you. But The Last Duel was a dueling great time, you know. I feel like this is another one that was in my top 10. These next 3 were actually in like my top 10 at one point, but they kind of just got pushed down, sadly. I'm not sure why. There's just a lot of movies. There's a lot of movies that come out of last year. A lot of things. 17 is No Time to Die. I saw this with my brother, and then I saw it later again with my friend Chris. And both times I was like, "Ooh, this is emotional. This might be the most emotional James Bond movie I've ever seen." Granted, I know there's like 24 of them or something crazy like that, and I've only seen maybe like a third of that, to be honest, and to be quite frank. But I got a lot to go through. And I don't have all of them on DVD. I don't own that. I mostly just watch DVDs when I'm out here at ZRice Film Studio World Land. That's why I buy so many, because I just like watching them. I don't know why. I don't like streaming very much. I just don't. And you go buy DVD. I'm weird like that, maybe. Yeah, No Time to Die, emotional send-off, perfect send-off for Daniel Craig. I liked it. Okay, so as we get closer to the #1 spot, I could see that these are being controversial, maybe in the way that these are placed, and I'm already starting to doubt the way some of these are placed. So bear with me. This next couple might not be in this order. It's just... Anyways. Dune is 16. I like the David Lynch version better. Moving on. 15, Ghostbusters Afterlife. 4 out of 5 stars. I did like Ghostbusters. I did like it. I mean, there was a couple things I would change, but it was one of the most well-done sequels for a movie I think I've ever seen. Like, my God. Jason Reitman is a true director. He knows how to frame a shot. He knows how to get the emotion out. He knows how to write witty little dialogue that'll keep you entertained. It was also an emotional tribute and kind of a send-off movie, but also a movie that'll build on for the future of Ghostbusters if there ever was a sequel. It was so many things all at once, and don't leave during the credits, because there's 2 post-credit scenes in Ghostbusters. I know it's still out in theaters, which is crazy, so that's why I'm saying that. If you plan on going to go see it in the cinema, which I really hope you do, because I do think it's a big screen movie. I saw it on opening night with my brother and sister. We went to the movies together, and we had a blast. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It was in my top 10 at one point, but I don't know what happened. I put this over it? Okay. The Matrix Resurrections, 4 out of 5 stars. I filmed an entire video of me ranking all of the Matrix movies. I ranked them, Reloaded, Revelations, original Matrix, of course, and Resurrections. And I put this one, I think I put it like 2nd or 3rd best, but it might be my 2nd favorite. I loved what I was seeing in Resurrections. I loved it. A lot of people don't like the really meta stuff that really like pokes at the audience and saying ha ha ha. Also, like, Deadpool did that, but everybody liked it because he was poking fun at like other characters and other things around him, and he was poking fun at himself, and at other times Ryan Reynolds and the filmmakers, and I thought that was kind of neat. Matrix kind of pokes fun at big corporations and you, the audience. It pokes fun at those 2 things, which I think is getting people all riled up about it. Like, oh, this isn't the Matrix, this is weird. I really don't think it's a sequel to Neo's story, the next big chapter in the never-ending chapter of Neo. I don't think it's like that. I think it's kind of a tribute movie to the past, kind of like Ghostbusters was. Except this is like the opposite of Ghostbusters. Whereas Ghostbusters put in all the Easter eggs and put in all the little references that make you go, haha, look at that. Matrix was like, no, we're gonna put some stuff in here, but also we're gonna flip it on your head, and it's not gonna be what you expect at all. Alana Wachowski just does not care. And I think she even said, or they even said this in the movie, like, we're gonna make this movie with or without you. And that was kind of like, I think Lana's internal like monologue as she was making it. She was like, well, they're gonna make this Matrix movie with or without me, so I'm gonna do it my way. And I know she was going through a lot of personal things. There's like interviews out there with her talking about how she needed these characters back in her life, and I could tell that this movie was made with a lot of love. And yes, Matrix Resurrections, I enjoyed it. There is a post-credit scene, but it doesn't really matter too much. 13 is Come On, Joaquin Phoenix and that little child. You've seen the trailer. You've seen the poster. Come on, man. It's a good movie. 12, Red Rocket, 4 out of 5. This is one I also didn't expect to like as much as I did. I think I liked it better than, Come On. It might be better than the next one I'm about to list. It might be better, actually. I don't know, it's just about this guy who's trying to run away from the Hollywood life, the LA lifestyle, and he goes back to the countryside where his family is, where his old family is. He doesn't quite live with them. He's divorced with his wife, or is he? But he goes back living with them and her mother, and just all kinds of stuff, man. It's not really so much a movie with like a plot, but it's more of like a hangout movie. You're just watching this guy day by day get into all these sorts of trouble, meeting all these new characters and old faces from his past, and reconnecting with them. And it sounds very sad when I say it out loud like that, but it's actually absolutely hilarious because Simon Rex is in it, and he's in all sorts of these parody movies and goofs and spoofs. But yeah, Red Rocket. 11, it might be better than this one. Licorice Pizza. Now this is one I didn't expect to not like as much. I was watching the trailers. I actually watched the first trailer like so many times. Like I've probably seen the first trailer 25 times. It's just edited so beautifully. So I was really, really excited to go see Licorice Pizza. I really was. I wanted it to be good. I saw it at this movie theater called The Lot, and I had never been there before. I went into The Lot, and they were like nothing, because I walked in, there was nobody to take my ticket, there was nobody to confirm that I was an audience member. I just walked right in, and I was like, there's nobody in this lobby. Let me go to the theater. Maybe it's like a train, you know, they come by and they rip your tickets. I didn't know. And then I went there, and then it was like a reclinable chair, and then the chair also had a freaking table like that, and then a lamp so you could order food and turn on the lamp, and while you're eating your food you could watch the movie. And the person came over, a waitress was all like, hello, and I was like, hi, and she was like, what do you want? Do you want anything for our menu? And I was like, what's on your menu? She's like, look at this. I was like, I'll have some popcorn and an icy. I wasn't really paying attention. That ended up being like $25 for those two things. I think their icy was like $10. I was like, bruh, this better be like a big old cup of icy. This better be like a San Diego Zoo cup of icy, like one of those giant big gulp cups. But it wasn't. It was just a normal sized cup, and I was like, what? And then I was looking around, and everybody was just like lounging, watching this movie. It was a packed theater too, and everybody was like on a date with somebody. It's kind of like a couple's place where you go out and you spend a lot of money and you eat some nice gourmet food and you watch a movie. So I felt out of place, and I feel like you don't need all these things to watch a movie. Heck, I watch movies just sitting here, and I don't even eat anything at all half the time. I just watch it, and I'm like, let's watch another one. So I can watch a movie in the harshest of conditions. And so I was like, I don't see the point for all this overpricedness. Sorry, I feel like I'm not really actually reviewing the movies. It's just the stories around them. I don't know if this is interesting or entertaining to anybody watching, but if you've made it this far, comment down below something. Just comment. Just spam the comments with hashtag just spam it. Just spam a word from the alphabet. And what else do we got? Number 10. Okay, boys, we're into our top 10 now. This is where it really gets down to business. 10. We have Crypto Zoo. This is a movie that I watched kind of recently, but I had heard about it for a while. It's a wild animated tale by, I do not know who made it, but I know that Michael Cera is a voice in it for a little while, and there's a couple other famous people that you kind of tell the voices of, but it wasn't really like a wide released animated film. It's not even a kids film. It's definitely not a kids film. There's lots of things in it that are not kid friendly. But basically, Crypto Zoo is just about there's this team of researchers that are trying to track down all these mythical creatures and beings and people with like all these deformities and kind of place them all in what is called the crypto zoo, because they are cryptos. The crypto, I was gonna say they're cryptocurrencies, but that doesn't make sense. Cryptids. I think they call them cryptids in the movie. So they're trying to track down all these cryptids and put them in this. They call it a sanctuary, but imagine a sanctuary, but you could still look at the animals. It's basically a zoo. It's a zoo, but they're just trying to cover that up, and it causes a lot of problems. And maybe some animals get loose. There's a lot of death, there's a lot of drugs, there's a lot of nudity and violence, and that, not a kid's movie, but I was absolutely entertained, and I love the animation style. Worthy of top 10. Number 9, Benedetta. Benedetta was interesting. That was that one nun movie by Paul Verhoeven, who did RoboCop, and now he's making nun movies, which I just love. You know, there's another nun movie that I also watched recently called The Other Hell. Go check that one out if you like nun movies. And so Benedetta kind of reminded me of Ken Russell's The Devils, which is, I would say, is a compliment. It's a compliment to Mr. Paul and a compliment to everybody who worked on the movie, because it is just so intense and it's full of blood and gore and violence and so much drama. The stakes are really, really high. So it's basically about Benedetta, and she kind of gets like possessed and / or cursed to the point where she thinks that Jesus Christ is gonna be like her lover, or is her lover, and most people believe it at the church she's at, because she's a nun, and other people don't believe it, and that causes conflicts. Yep, Benedetta. 8. Why am I losing my... Okay, I don't think I'm sick. I think I'm just losing my voice. How long have I been talking for? How long is this video? Okay, got like 8 minutes before my camera just dies. Alright, what else we got? Okay, 8 is Spider-Man No Way Home, 4 out of 5. The whole world is talking about it. The whole world knows it's good. Is it the best superhero movie ever made? No. Is it the best Spider-Man movie ever made? No. I actually did a review on this movie, a full-length review where I ranked all the other Spider-Man films, so I feel like I don't have to talk about this one too much in this video. Just go watch that video. It's another video like this where I just ramble on about the movie, and that's all that happens. 7 is Lamb, 4 out of 5. I also did a review on Lamb. I made another video about it because I just loved Lamb so much. It filled me with so much joy in my empty hearts, and it just made me just love Lamb and the whole atmosphere and all the characters. And it was not so much creepy to me, but it was more heartfelt. There was a lot of heart in Lamb, even though it was very dry and practically silent. I don't think there was a soundtrack for this movie. It was just all ambience, you know? Because these people were living out in the middle of nowhere, and they have a lamb child. And it's Lamb. It's Lamb. It's Lamb, guys. 6, Zack Snyder's Justice League. There was a point where this was number 2 on my list. That was before I had seen any of the other ones that make up the rest. But Zack Snyder's Justice League blew me out of the flipping water. That was like a fish flopping on the deck, dying of awesomeness of what I had just witnessed on the screen. I watched it with my brother right here on this TV that's right next to me, and I was like, oh my freaking god, this is one of the most epic movies I have seen in a long time. I loved Zack Snyder for what he did to this. I don't love him 100% all the way as a director, but I do think the man has some real talent if you just let him do whatever the heck he wants and not butcher his movies. He kind of got the... it's like David Lynch. I'm going back to him. David Lynch, he wasn't given final cut on Dune. Could it have been a great movie? Maybe. Who knows? It could have... I liked it as it is, but it could even be a fantastic movie. Alejandro Jodorowsky wanted to make Dune, but nobody wanted to fund it. Everybody says his ideas were too crazy. Zack Snyder, he wanted this big vision for Justice League, but then the studio kind of took it away from him, and well, he backed out because of his daughter and all those issues. And then somebody else kind of came over, Joss Whedon, and he butchered it, and so did the studio, and they left out a whole bunch of stuff. So when I was going into Zack Snyder's Justice League, I was like, oh, this is going to be kind of the same thing. It's just going to be the same movie with some added scenes. No, it was a completely different story. A completely different movie. It looked completely different. They even shot new stuff for this movie. Everyone should go watch it. Best superhero movie in a long time. Number 5, West Side Story. This movie swept me off my feet. It took me by surprise. I did not expect to like West Side Story this much. The music was so enthralling and chilling and mind-numbingly good. It holds a candle to the original. I applaud you, Mr. Spielberg. His last couple movies have been okay. The Post, Ready Player One, just kind of bleh. But West Side Story puts him back in the game. Really sad he dropped out of Indiana Jones, but that's whatever. Number 4, Last Night in Soho. Last Night in Soho. Edgar Wright, one of my all-time favorite directors, has come back for another movie. Time bendy, time twirly. I liked it. I more than liked it. I loved it. It's in my top 5. So Last Night in Soho, great color palette, great everything. 3 is Pig. I feel like I touched on this just a little bit beforehand, but Nicolas Cage, I think he gives probably the best performance I had seen in 2020. Someone knocking? Oh, I don't know what that sound is, but I don't want to be murdered in a second. Nicolas Cage was the best performance of 2021 in Pig. You can quote me on that. 2 is Titan. 4.5 out of 5 stars for Titan. This movie is filled to the brim with absolute insanity. I couldn't believe what I was watching, because movies aren't being made like this anymore. It took me back to like old school David Cronenberg, Gaspar Noé, dare I say it, David Lynch again. It just gave me that old horror movie vibe, and it took strides where strides aren't being taken anymore, and it wasn't afraid to just go all out. And that was my number 1 pick for a while, but number 1 has to go to The French Dispatch. Wes Anderson, he did it again, man. He did it again. I mean, he always does it for me, but he did it again, and he just keeps outdoing himself. And many people I was reading online didn't like this movie because it was too Wes Anderson, and when is Wes Anderson gonna change his style? You can't do that. You can't ask an artist to change his ways. That's what the artist is going to keep doing. And if anything, his next movie, Just Prepare, it's probably going to be 10 times even more big and 10 times more insane, because The French Dispatch was probably his most wild movie yet. It might have not had that same emotional tug as other movies have, like The Life of Steve Zissou, which is, I think, my personal favorite of his films. I love Steve Zissou, and I love, of course, Grand Budapest, but yeah, this one is right up there, though. French Dispatch, fantastic. Best movie of 2021. And wow, look at that. We made it in time before my camera died. With just 3 minutes left. Oh, what a speed run, am I right? 50 movies in one video, one review. Again, if you liked this review, please check out some of our other reviews. I'm going to leave a link in the description to check out other movie reviews. We also have a brand new movie. Yes, we make movies too here at ZRice Films. We have a brand new movie coming out next Friday called The Lost Tapes. There's a trailer for that somewhere up here as well, so check that out if you can. We also made a feature film about a couple months ago called Dumb Warfare, Nuclear War. It's just a crazy movie about having fun with your friends and doing crazy stunts. Watch that as well. Follow me on Instagram at ZRice Films. And don't forget to subscribe if you liked what you saw here. And you can dislike the video if you want. It's up to you. You can't see the dislikes anymore, but I can. I'll just be crying in my room when you dislike it. Anyways, my name's ZRice. Goodbye. I'll see you in 2023 for my next review. Okay, goodbye.